Hello, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Scott Sports 101. I'm Scott Trella. We'll talk Tribe and Major League Baseball, and we'll talk about Browns training camp and their first preseason game coming up. We'll go all around the NFL. And we're also going to talk about a story that broke out of Ohio State last week, and I'm going to give you an update on that in just a sec. But first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. In 1993, what NFL team made off-season trades for Joe Montana and Marcus Allen? I will have the answer later in the broadcast. Now, you may have heard there was a breaking news story that broke out of Ohio State involving head coach Urban Meyer and former Ohio State coach Zach Smith and his wife Courtney Smith, and also Urban Meyer's wife Shelley, about a domestic violence incident that happened in not only in 2009 but 2015 as well. Now, and nobody knows if Urban Meyer knew anything about this, but I feel by far that if he did, he needs to go by no questions asked, by far. And I feel that I know there's an investigation, and for being violent with your wife is and shoving her is just inappropriate and out of line, if this is true or not. But they did divorce. Courtney Smith and her husband Zach Smith divorced they separated in 2013 and divorced in 2016, and they also they have also talked with Gene Smith, and Gene Smith denies knowing it, and he says and sources say if you fire Urban Meyer, you've got to fire Gene Smith as well. Now, I found out tonight in a story that I found out on Google with getting into the Ohio State page that the Urban Meyer investigation is expected to conclude within 14 days. The timeline was announced in a statement from the university. Ohio State also said that former Ohio House Speaker Joanne Davidson will serve as the chairperson of the working group. Ohio State is doing a thorough and complete investigation of all this, and they're also sending Greg Williams, who is the former district attorney, and Ohio State Board of Trustees Colin Stewart, and there's a few other trustees as well, and they're doing a complete thorough investigation, and they look forward to sharing the results and the actions that the university may take, and we will know the results in 14 days. Now, I feel if Urban Meyer did know about it, and he is denying that he did not know about it, but if he did, I feel he needs to be fired by far, no questions asked. Now, we don't know if he actually knew, and Shelley has had conversations with Courtney Smith, and my heart goes out to Courtney Smith and Urban Meyer's wife Shelley, because they have been have been helping them through counseling Courtney Smith and her husband Zach Smith. Now, we don't know if Urban Meyer and his wife Shelley knew, and we won't know until the investigation concludes within 14 days. So we will have to wait and find out and see. And I will have a story when it breaks within 14 days, so stay tuned for that. The Tribe beat the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim 4-3 today at Progressive Field. Shane Bieber was on the mound for the good guys. For the good guys, Bieber went 5 2/3 innings, striking out 7 and giving up 3 runs. Two of the runs were two of the runs the Angels scored, were unearned runs on wild pitches. Then the bullpen came in and took over and really finished the job. Brad Hand came on the ninth and got his first save as a member of the Tribe. The Tribe scored 3 in the first and 1 in the sixth The Tribe will be back and 1 to 6. The Tribe will be back in action tomorrow as they will take on the Minnesota Twins tomorrow night at Progressive Field. Trevor Bauer is on the mound for the good guys with a record of 10 and 6, and Kyle Gibson is on the mound for the Twins with a record of 5 and 8. And the Tribe is still in first place in the AL Central, and they are 9 games ahead of the Minnesota Twins. Now, the Tribe really got lucky with that. I feel they are going to the playoffs no matter what. And we hope that they make it back to the World Series, but there's no guarantee that they will. Now, they need to really get these bats going, and they did today. And they now have some solid arms in the bullpen, but they got to hold the lead and not blow it. They've got to maintain it, and they've got to not let these guys score. They've got to strike out or get them out on first or second or third base or at home plate. They've got to keep them from scoring. And I feel that the Indians are going to do just that. And I just feel that they're going to the playoffs no matter what. And let's see. I feel that the Indians could be the next team to bring Cleveland a championship. So support your Indians. And really, let's do it, Tribe. The Browns enjoyed their second day off from training camp after day 9 of training camp. But they will be back at work tomorrow from 3 to 5:55 p.m. in Berea as they get ready for their first preseason game this Thursday against the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium in New York. You can watch the game on NFL Network, and I do believe you can also watch it locally as well on WKYC Channel 3. And I feel this preseason is going to say it all besides training camp. So they're going to be rehearsing and testing these guys out to see who will make the Browns' 53-man roster for the regular season, which begins on Sunday, September 9th. Now, we have some NFL trade news today. The Browns sent former first-round pick Corey Coleman to the Buffalo Bills. The Bills acquired Corey Coleman from the Browns. The teams announced on Sunday. Cleveland will receive a future draft pick in the deal. Now, I feel this was a good move by the Browns, and because I felt Corey Coleman, he wasn't quite up to snuff last season, and he did well, but he did well with the Browns in training camp for the time that he was here for this season. But I feel with the 0-16 season last year, I felt Corey Coleman just did not really do quite as well as what he should have. But he was a good player. Don't get me wrong, he was. I thought this was a good move by the Browns. And as you know, we traded our third-round pick from last season for Bills veteran Bills quarterback Tyrod Taylor, as you may recall. We will get back to talking about Ohio State and the Urban Meyer investigation and the Tribe and the Browns in just a sec. But it is now time for the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 trivia question. In 1993, what NFL team made off-season trades for Joe Montana and Marcus Allen? If you said the Kansas City Chiefs, you are correct. The Kansas City Chiefs traded for Joe Montana and Marcus Allen in 1993. They would go on to post a record of 11-5 that year, just missing the Super Bowl when they lost to the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship game. I'll have another trivia question on my next broadcast, so stay tuned for that. Now, getting back to the Ohio State thing and the Urban Meyer investigation, I feel this investigation is completely necessary because a thorough investigation needs to be done to determine whether or not Urban Meyer knew anything about this, and he may have known something. We're not sure yet, but I feel that if he did, Urban Meyer will need to be fired by no questions asked, as I have just said earlier on the broadcast. Now, I feel if Gene Smith denies knowing stuff, which is relation, which is Zach Smith, I believe his brother or his father. I can't remember off the top of my head, but check me if I'm wrong. But I feel Gene Smith, he's denying knowing things, and I do feel, but if I have a feeling he might have known something. I don't know. But if he did, he will need to be fired by all means. But if they fire Urban Meyer, they've got to fire Gene Smith, as I said earlier on the broadcast. And I want to know what you think. I want to know your thoughts and your inputs on this. Let me know what you think on this Urban Meyer scandal out of Ohio State. Post a comment on my discussion page on Scott Sports, my YouTube channel, Scott Sports 101, or on my email address, my Scott Sports 101 YouTube channel email address, scottsports101 at gmail.com. Now, getting back to the Browns, I want to just say that the Browns, I feel, are really up and coming, and I feel that they are going to really win some games this upcoming season. And I feel I'd like to see, as I've said before, I would like to see them go 6-10. But I know that's asking a lot, and some fans are saying the Browns are going to make the playoffs, but I'm going to believe that when I see that, because we've not done that, as I've said before, since 2002. And we do have a Thursday night game this regular season, but we still do not have a Monday night game, which we have not had one since 2003. And I feel the Browns still are not ready for Monday Night Football, but they will be, I feel, in a few years. Now, I feel that Baker Mayfield is really making a huge splash at training camp and making some strides. And they could play him, but I don't know if they will during the regular season. But they might, though. But you've got to develop him first and really get him ready. He's got to learn from the veteran Tyrod Taylor and the other quarterbacks and the quarterback coach as well. So they've got to let him sit and really just learn from this. And I will be doing preseason football analysis beginning this Thursday when the Browns will take on the Giants, the New York Giants, at MetLife Stadium in New York. And beginning on September 9th, when the NFL regular season starts, look for the premiere, as I will declare Sundays, look for the premiere, as I just said, of Scott Sports 101 NFL Football Sunday, where I will do Browns analysis and preview the Browns games during the regular season. And I will do my picks of the week. I will preview all the early and late games, besides the Browns game, all the Sunday night football games, and also the Monday night games as well. And I will also do a post-game show immediately following the game. And when I do the pre-game shows, I will have frequent guests on as well. And my first guest on Sunday, September 9th, when the Browns will take on the Steelers in Pittsburgh at Heinz Field, I will be on location at the Murphy House, the home of my friends Matt and Katie Murphy. And my first guest will be none other than my really good friend, who's one of my best friends, Matt Murphy, who has been on my YouTube channel once before back in June. So stay tuned for that and look for the premiere on Sunday, September 9th. Well, that is going to wrap it up for this edition of Scott Sports 101. Always remember, be a team player each and every day in every way possible. So long, everybody. 3, 2, 1, I'm done.